Okay, lots more clouds today. They say it's supposed to start raining tomorrow. I guess we'll see. I think today I'm going to try to test the focusing on more close-up objects. And what I read today, no rain means at least I could fly the drone. And today there was so much news around here in Canada because it is officially when the new regulations and stuff come in place. For example, you can fly in more ways without having to get, let's just say, an SFOC, for example, depending on the situation. And it seems like NAV Canada released all these press release in terms of them updating the app and so forth. Like this one says, NAV Canada launches major NAV drone update. As it says here, NAV Canada today launched a significant update to its NAV drone app, expanding the range of operations available to drone pilots across Canada. The upgrade comes into effect alongside the second phase of Transport Canada's 2025 drone regulations and marks another step forward in safely and efficiently integrating drones into Canadian airspace. So what do they change? As it says here, the new update enables drone pilots to conduct additional types of complex operations, including low-risk beyond visual line of sight flights in uncontrolled airspace, sheltered operations close to structures, and extended visual line of sight with the support of certified visual observers. The app also now supports medium weight 25 kilograms to 150 kilogram drone operations, unlocking opportunities for new commercial applications such as precision agriculture and infrastructure inspection. So the gist of it is, basically for drones under 25 kilograms, you can now essentially fly a lot closer to people within 5 to 30 meters without the need of getting things like a special flights operation certificate as long as you have the advanced pilot certificate. So this mainly benefits the medium-sized drones, for example the 25 to 150 kilogram drones, just because they don't need things like those SFOCs anymore in a lot of situations. So as long as you have that certificate per se, then you're good to go in a lot of cases. And as well, that new bit about sheltered operations, which essentially lets drones fly around structures like say a house or a huge tower up to 100 feet above and 200 feet away, but you have to stay 100 feet from bystanders, and so it's good, for example, such as people doing real estate work, inspections and all that. Doesn't really affect much if you're flying things like micro drones and all that, and as you guys know, they recently changed all those rules where they tried to classify those drones within things like advertised events and all that too. I guess one thing's for sure too, just in terms of business, any place that focuses on, for example, doing things like certification and all that, they'll probably get a lot more business now because of this. So what would you think of this anyways overall? Again, it seems like it benefits more businesses in general. In terms of rules and stuff though, like in the US, as you know, there's so much talk about banning companies like DJI and their drones, and it seems like, again, this is a story that's been popping up a lot today as well. So how about this one here? This one says, will the US government ban DJI drones? Here's what we know so far. So they talk about a vote that was done by the FCC last week, and it says it could mean that the future products from drone maker DJI and products made with some of its technology could be banned from import and sale in the US. The FCC voted 3-0 to close loopholes in the FCC's covered list and secure America's communication networks against devices determined to pose an unacceptable risk to national security. In plain English, the vote opens the door to future and retroactive bans of products that use communication technology, such as DJI's drone radio frequency technology, from import and sale in the US, in the same way it's already banned Huawei products. And they talk about the reasoning on how in the US they determined DJI products to be, I guess you could say, a threat of sort. And how did the company respond? It says here, a representative for DJI told CNET that while the FCC vote references a rule change, that doesn't currently apply to DJI specifically. The National Defense Authorization Act deadline in December would put Chinese companies like it on the FCC's ban list without any evidence of wrongdoing or the right to appeal. And it says, Adam Welsh, head of global policy at DJI, said the company has repeatedly said it would be open to audit, but that more than 10 months have now passed with no sign that the process has begun. So that brings up the question on whether or not there's actually validity in terms of the fear in general. But I guess when it comes to things like drones, if it's not things like the laws, for example, that are over the top in a lot of places, you gotta worry about whether or not the hardware you're flying is even going to be legal in the future, huh? It's like with all this red tape coming out, it's like it's pushing people to not, for example, fly drones in general. And this was kind of interesting anyways, in terms of that story in Richmond, BC, on how various native tribes, they essentially claimed ownership of a certain land, and the Supreme Court actually said, okay, you guys own it, and that puts property owners in jeopardy. For example, people that own home or properties, like what does that mean? Some people have said because of this ruling, they can't even get, like, let's just say a mortgage on their home and all that. And some people are saying, well, why didn't the government, for example, or the court notify all the residents way before, since it affects them? And apparently this came out that's going a bit viral here, where the officials were saying, oh, we didn't think we needed to tell people because they said it wouldn't actually affect, let's just say, regular property owners. So that's kind of interesting when you think about it.
The court decision, the court assured us that they would make a decision that didn't affect landowners in the claim area, so they didn't have to be served, they didn't have to be told about the case, that it was going ahead in court. Unfortunately, that obviously turned out not to be the case. So one of the pieces of information that we're seeking to gather is from property owners in the area. If they're running into impacts that are related to financing or other related issues, it's helpful for us to know. We're applying to the court for something called a stay, which is a pause and a stop on the decision until the Court of Appeal has a chance to consider that. That's important evidence for the court to be able to hear.
So they're planning to appeal it and all that, but that's still really bad, huh? I mean, in general, people should be notified if they're going to be infected in that way. And again, who knows what's going to happen eventually if they don't find a way to rectify this situation in general. No, you're not imagining, those are sounds. There's supposed to be an event here. You guys remember about that Harry Potter thing? Again, just interested in seeing how blurry it is with really high ISO. Alright, see you guys later.